I'm just going to have you start off by introducing yourself.
Hi, my name's V.P Nightshade. I'm a paranormal romance author.
Perfect, perfect. And like I said before, I love this background, all of the books that you have up. Like,
Yeah, this is my vampirist um bloodline series. And so when we've talked, because I know you read my first book of my Beauty and the Beast series.
yes.
So yeah, so I'm on to that, and I've got a new science fiction stuff coming up. I want to have that first book finished and published sometime in October, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I've got it on Kindle as of a January 1st, but I really
Yes.
want to get it done before then, so and get it out. So yeah, it's I've been busy this year. This is the first year I've been doing this full time. So
Oh, I love it. I
yeah, it's
absolutely
fun.
love it. What inspired you to get started writing?
Well, I never wanted to write for publication. I've been writing basically ever since I could hold a pencil. And I I never wanted to do that for publication. It was just kind of my stress relief, get all the voices out of your head. That's what I would say. Get those voices in your head, so you got to get them out. And COVID happened. And so I had my own business. And when COVID happened, they closed everything down here. I live in Texas. They closed everything down. And so I was like a basket case
Oh,
because, you can't leave the house, you can't go out, so I just went through all of these old manuscripts I had and pulled out The Choice, which was done in 1996. That's when I drafted it.
mm,
And then just went, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. Back in 1996, you couldn't self-publish. There was no
right.
method to do it. And, I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I did it. And then, a lot of people really liked it, but they wanted a second book. And
Mm.
because I wasn't going to write a second book, it was just going to be the end right there. And so, but a lot of people who read the book wanted me to write a second book. So I wrote a second book. And now in December, my ninth book of that series will be published. So, and I'm hoping that's the last one, unless I do a prequel.
Right.
Yeah, but the prequels really won't be a romance. It'll be more of a horror. So, because that's, it's all about the vampires and the shifters and stuff. That series is.
That's going to be cool. Now, when it comes to the different characters in your books, how do you develop your characters to make them so relatable?
Um, I have a tendency when I read other people's books,
Mhm.
is I've got a little voice and goes, that don't make any sense. That would not happen. So I try to put my characters to where it makes sense. So like with the one I'm writing now, my third book that's going to be finishing out my mini series for Beauty and the Beast. One of the things about that one is that it's based on the original Beauty and the Beast, which was done by Villeneuve back in she died in 1750. So I think she published that work back in 1740. So it's based on that Beauty and the Beast, not the Disney one.
Mhm.
And the Disney one always confused me as a kid because I always thought to myself, man, that sorceress, she was a
Mhm.
bitch. I mean, so he was a jerk. So you're going to curse
Mhm.
him to where
Yeah.
he's a monster. And I didn't think that made any sense. But the original Beauty and the Beast kind of makes a little bit of sense. And I twisted it to where my beast kind of deserves it.
Oh.
So he's hmm, he kind of deserves it. He's not irredeemable because, of course, love, it's romance. So love will redeem him in the end. But yeah, he kind of deserves it. He's a cad. He's a cat. So yeah,
Okay. Now, when you are working on your books, do you have a specific writing routine?
I do. I do a lot of this is my new process. Well, it's not new, but it's much different from the first book. I do a lot of build up as far as I write a whole synopsis from in the beginning of the book all the way to the end to, whatever I've decided I want to write. And I then take that and make it into an outline, and then I make each chapter into scene beats. And so, I get it all down on paper. And
Mhm.
then I take that and it sits right next to me as I start to write the book. And I go through it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to only do that. I will, if I'm in the middle of it and the character wants to go in a certain direction, I might do that. But at least it gives me a really good starting point. And so when I go back through it for my second review, and I'm updating, setting descriptions or character descriptions, and then I go through a third one where I work strictly on dialogue. I make sure that's there, and I'm not missing anything, or where I've laid Easter eggs throughout the manuscript. And you're a writer, so you make sure you answer those questions at the end, because as soon as someone reviews it, that's going to be the first thing. Hey, you didn't
Mhm.
answer this question. You kind of left me hanging. So that's kind of the way I work it. And then once all that's done, those first two major passes, it goes off and I have a group that reads it for me. And then
Okay.
they tell me, no, this doesn't work. This does not work. This doesn't flow. You didn't answer a question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, I'll fix it. And then I
Right.
go through that fix. And then that's what I'm doing now is I'm going through, I've got everybody's stuff up. I'm making sure all the spelling's done. I use Pro Writing Aid, which I really had nothing but Microsoft Word before. So,
Yes.
that doesn't catch all the errors. So I use Pro Writing Aid and I use Atticus to build my ebook. And that's what I'm doing today. I'll have that finished. And then I'll send my draft to my Kindle. And then I'm going to sit down and put my reader hat on and read it. And
Okay.
I will find an error. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Hours and hours, multiple people, you will still find an error.
Mhm.
It's, and I'm a little OCD, so it used to drive me crazy. So I've had to kind of step back and say, don't get nuts about this,
Yeah.
'cause it will happen. So,
Absolutely. And when it comes to your books, what message or impact do you hope the book will have on readers?
um, well, I mean, it depends on the books. Of course, uh, you know, the the choice, the first one, it's all about what a mother will do for their children. What
Mm,
will she sacrifice, or what will she do for her children? And so that ended in a way that the readers kind of freaked out. Some of them really freaked out.
yeah.
But that's where it needed to end. So a lot of authors, I don't, but a lot of authors, they put themselves into a character when they write.
Mhm.
Um, I always like to say that I'm not nearly as good as Layla, who is our girl in the choice. I may have made a different decision. Hey, give me hot and sexy and gazillionaire vampire, and I just, let me go. Okay, see you, kids. I
Yeah.
mean, you never can tell, right? So, and a lot of the readers that wrote reviews or contacted me via Facebook, they were like, I cannot believe she didn't go with him. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do for your kids. So,
Absolutely.
but it was funny. I'm not sure I would have made the same decision.
I understand. And what events can we see you at this year? Will there be any in-person things this year
You
or
know,
next year?
I had not, the only thing I've been doing, and it's been author stuff. I haven't done anything with readers unless it's online.
Okay.
Now I do have, like this year, like I said, this first time I've been doing everything. I actually work 7 days a week now. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and even I've got a husband who travels all over. He does competition shooting, and so every once in a while he'll drag me out of town. But I'm like, have laptop will work.
Mhm.
So, and I have such an aggressive schedule for this year. I'm just going to really be doing nothing this year. But
Yes.
now maybe next year. I haven't decided. There was a really neat event a couple of years ago. I want to say must have been in 2023. It happened in August. and it was
Oh,
an author thing, and in Las Vegas. That's where it was in Las Vegas.
I know what you're
Yes.
talking about. I don't remember the
Yes. And I
names.
wanted to go to that, and I thought, well, but I wasn't, I had other obligations,
Yes.
clients and stuff. So, but now it's just kind of me, and I have my grumpy old man, and you know, that's what I call him, is my grumpy old man.
Oh,
But he runs around and tells everybody I write vampire porn. So I
oh.
mean, we have our things, right? We have our things. So he's the only one that runs my schedule now.
Okay.
If I'm going out of town, but I might want to do something. I'd love to go to the author thing if they have it again in Vegas.
Right.
So yeah.
That would be beautiful. And where can we find you on social media as well as your books?
Um, uh, all my books are only sold through Amazon. I'm got Kindle Unlimited. The choice of have got paperback and hardback, but it's all on Amazon. My social media, I'm on Facebook. Um, I have a Twitter VPN at VPN Rights is what it is. Hardly ever on Twitter. I'm not on TikTok at all. I do have a YouTube channel. When I started writing when I have what I call my elves, they
Mhm.
started with me this year. So they've got me doing all kinds of different things. So that I've got a YouTube channel. And that's really where I started writing this poetry when I started writing this fairy tales. And
Mhm.
it helped because I normally write contemporary, and that's
Yeah.
one style or one voice. Well, when I was doing the fairy tales, I had a tendency to keep flipping back to that style, and I wanted it to remain a fairy tale.
Right.
So I started writing these little poems to kind of keep me on track and keep my brain in that area of fairy tales. And
Oh,
so I've got this little poetry book coming out middle of next month because I wrote all these poems. I had really a difficult time the
mhm.
first and second book keeping in that voice. And that was the one thing that everybody was going, okay, you're flipping back and forth. And I wanted to keep it, I wanted to make it a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm on Facebook most of the time. I have a reader group on Facebook. It's called Nightshade's After Dark Darlings. And I think I've got almost 500 people in there now. And so I do videos, and I send out every once in a while I'll do it on YouTube. But because I write and not safe for work, you know,
Mhm.
um, I couldn't do I always do one chapter for my readers, the ones my like fan group, I guess is what you
Right.
call them. And I do that all the time in their group. So, and then
Okay.
I'll do videos and put stuff out and give them updates. And I've got several authors in that private group that actually send me questions. And so I'll do a video and stick it out there in the private group forum. I have one, and I don't know who they are because I've got Kim, well, my elf. She doesn't like me to say her name. She checks my messages and she checks my email
Right.
during the week, and she writes me down lists, and then I answer those questions. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So she keeps me on track. She's awesome. She's awesome. So I
that
don't know what
is.
I'd do without her.
Aw. Well, I do thank you so much for coming on here and telling us more about you. When I reached out, I was like, I don't know what she's going to say.
Oh,
But
I loved your book.
oh,
My favorite ex.
yes.
I, that was it. Just hit you. I just loved the way you ended that. I was not expecting it. I was not expecting it at all. And I was like, this is real, and it's hard to do because that was a fairly short book.
Mhm.
That type of twist at the end, just wow. That I won't spoil it because I don't know if anybody's read it. But if you guys haven't, I know she's gonna put this on YouTube. If you have not read her book, it's called My Favorite Ex. You can go read it because it really is a twist at the end, and you're like, wow.
I
Wow. So
appreciate saying that so much. I really do appreciate it. So I am going to be in touch with you soon. I'm going to get this video edited so we can go ahead and spread it out into the internet and the fan bases. And again, I thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, well, thank you, French. And it's nice to see you face to face. This was fun.
Yes, it was fun for me too. I don't know. I just get so excited when it's time to do one of these interviews.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And so what, you just want me to sign out? Is that how you'll
Go
end?
ahead and sign off for us.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.